The Fender Stratocaster is without a doubt the most significant guitar ever created. It was first launched on the market in 1954, and it's reported that by 2010 over 3 million Stratocasters had been sold worldwide. This year marks the 70th anniversary of the Fender Strat. Up until only a few years ago, you could buy a real Fender Strat that was made in either China, Mexico, Japan, or the US. Unfortunately, Fender decided to stop manufacturing branded Fender Strats in China about 3 years ago. So that left Mexico, Japan, and the US. And today, the best value Fender Strat, real Fender Strat that you can buy is made in Mexico, in Fender's own factory in Ensenada. This is my own guitar. It's a Mexican-made standard Strat. That model has been replaced by what's called now the Player Series, but they're very similar. There was only a few changes when they upgraded to the Player Series. These guitars are real Fender Strats. There's no question about that. They sound like it, feel like it, play like it. In fact, since the late 80s, when the Mexican factory was first started, the luthiers there have really become very, very skilled. And it's very hard to see a great difference between the guitars made in any place in the world. And I think that's a credit to Fender that they've been able to produce guitars in lots of different areas where they've been able to keep the price down and make it easier for buyers like us to get a real Fender product. Some people have often said that a Mexican-made Stratocaster isn't a real one. Well, that's not true. In fact, many of the components that are used in the Mexican factory are very similar, if not the same, as those used in the American factory. And the interesting thing is that since the Mexican factory was launched in the late 1980s, it's gone on to produce a range of Stratocasters that really have sold exceptionally well worldwide. At times there might be a little difference in the timbers that he used, but they're still very, very high quality. The nut in this case is an artificial bone, not a real bone nut, but it's pretty good. I've had no problems with tuning. The tuning keys are Fender Deluxe, and they're very reliable. The pickups are Alnico, and as you can see, my guitar is what's called an HSS, 2 single coils and 1 humbucker. And things like the pots and switches, etc. Obviously, the American-made guitars have slightly higher quality fittings and finish, but there's not a great deal of difference to justify a price of 2 or 3 times that of the Mexican-made guitar. The Mexican-made Strat has an alder body, which is the same material used in the American-made Strat. The difference is that in this case, the body is made from 3 pieces of alder. The US guitar is made from 2. You can see that this one's got a maple fingerboard. They all have maple necks, and some of the models have rosewood or Palfero fingerboards. The fretwork on this guitar is really quite exceptional. The fret ends are exceptionally well finished, and I've had no problems at all with the quality of this guitar in the 4 years that I've owned it. It really has been extremely good, and I think great value. Fender have realised that most of the people that buy guitars are not professional musicians. They're people like you and me that love guitars. Maybe we gig a little bit, but basically we're not playing for a living. So they've taken the philosophy that it's important to be able to bring entry-level products with the Fender brand into the marketplace at affordable prices. And that makes a big difference. Naturally, it'd be great if we could afford to spend thousands and thousands each time we buy a guitar. But in this case, Fender have been able to bring the Mexican range into the marketplace at between 800 and maybe 1100 US dollars, depending on the particular model. And really, that's great value for a real Fender product. I hope you join me in wishing the Fender Stratocaster a happy 70th birthday. It really has been one of the most, if not the most, significant guitars ever created, having sold so many worldwide and being used by musicians and players all around the world. Again, if you're looking for a great value new Fender Stratocaster, I don't believe you can go past the Mexican-made guitar. I've certainly been very happy with mine, and I believe the quality control and the componentry of this particular Mexican-made guitar is up there with everything else in the marketplace, and it's a real Fender. I hope you've enjoyed this video. There's a short demo following, which gives you an idea of the softer side of a Fender Strat, not a heavy rock version. So please stay and watch that. I look forward to seeing you next time, and thanks again for watching.